What's going on, guys? Welcome back to review and discussion for UnOrdinary, episode 253. I think it's 253. Yeah, episode 253. I know things just fine. Anyway, so as to be expected, uh an action chapter literally just happened. So this is definitely a talking chapter, a story chapter, which is fine. It's totally fine because what we got, I'm actually very content and very happy with what we got. I'll touch on that in a little bit. But essentially this chapter was really just uh, you know, discussion. Which is fine. It was discussion between John and Serafina, which is really good. Like if we think about it, we're on episode 253. The two have like barely been on actual speaking terms since 330 or 231, I think, is when John contacted Sarah again. So yeah, it has been a while. I'm gonna say 230 is when he contacted Sarah when he was back in New Boston again. Um, but yeah, like it still is fairly fresh that they're able to talk to each other again, and especially also considering that Sarah actually hasn't really been talking to John lately because she was busy with the Spectre stuff and hiding it from John. So it's nice and sweet. It's sweet that we have the friends together again, and they're just talking about serious issues now. Like it's like Sarah mentions in this chapter, like John's involved now. Like now it's do or die. Anyway, so it's just nice. It's nice to see everyone. It's nice to see John and Sarah back together. Anyway, so this chapter does just continue off of the previous chapter, 252, which, like, hey, that's cool, fine, thank you, Uru, thank you for satiating my, I don't know. Anyway, so it continues immediately off of episode 252, and just one quick small note, Sarah starts off the chapter like, hey, I saved you a seat, like, let's go eat. Now, I actually thought that he was going to be joining, like, Evie, Dylan, and Terrence and Roland at their table or whatever, but no, it actually just starts out with the two of them by themselves, which is nice. So, anyway, immediately, John, they're starting to talk about, like, how everyone's reaction to the fight between John Blake and the Rowden Royals. And so John immediately starts like doubting himself. He keeps putting himself down. He's I fucked up. Like I went too far. I got another fight, and I got found out by Spectre, like which is what we were trying to avoid. He's I'm screwing everything up. But Sarah tells him, and real quick, John. It's actually kind of nice to see John doing that because like because he's admitting his faults, and that's progress. That's awesome progress, Uru. Now Sarah does point out though that people like, as in the classmates and everything, some people around like who like heard, they're saying that the Rowden Royals, it does seem like they think John was in the right this time because the Rowden Royals were kind of douchebags. But hearing that, John doesn't really he clearly does not like that because he begins to start shaking again. And Sarah actually reaches over to him, and she does tell him that though she's happy about that he's improving, like overall, like he's making an effort, he's like getting better and everything. But she mentions that now that he's involved with everyone, now that he's involved himself with Spectre, with her and Arlo, he can't keep hesitating. And I actually like that because it's a really valid point. It's a really valid point. Like, whether or not John wants his ability, he can't hide from it. That's, everyone's kind of been telling him that. Williams told him that. Sarah's told him that. Arlo has told him that in a much dick way. In a much worse way. Season 1, part 1. But, like, they have a really strong point. John can't keep hesitating. He can't. he has to accept that he does have his ability, and his ability is a part of him. And, this is something I've always wanted, like, Jon fully coming to terms with his ability and wanting to use it for good. So it's really awesome. It's really awesome that, like, Sarah was both there for Jon, like, hey, like, I know you're trying, like, I appreciate it, but she also did give him the talk, like, Jon, like, we're in a do or die situation now. Like, I need you. And she tells him, like, promise me, if shit goes south, that you will use your ability without hesitating to protect either yourself or others, if necessary. And again, it's nice because Sarah has a really valid point. Jon should not be okay, I understand why Jon is hesitating, but he shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be. He can't be at this point. Like, I think today with the Royals, with the Rowden Royals, was definitely kind of a what's the word? I think it was definitely, like, meant to show, like, what will happen if Jon does hesitate. Like, Blythe just got punched. He got laid out for a second. And, like, that's because Jon hesitated. And again, we know why Jon is hesitating. We know. Jon has always said it himself. But he can't be hesitating because this was just the Royals. This was just a small square off. This is just a small encounter in comparison to, like, what everyone is actually up against in the future. So yeah, if Jon hesitates in the future against Spectre, against Ember, against the authorities, it could be a lot worse. It could mean someone's death. So anyway, Jon doesn't necessarily give an answer to that promise, but he does ask Sarah why she's willing to help them despite what they've done to her, how they took away her ability, how they don't have 100% guarantee to give her ability back permanently. So Sarah then just tells him outside, or she tells him, like, hey, let's go outside, let's get some air. And, they just hang out by the pool. And Sarah mentions that she wants to learn about the technology that Spectre is developing, be it the dampener, the disabler, and whatever else they could be working on. And this was also a pretty good chapter because we do get a little bit more insight into what Spectre is about. Now, what does Spectre want? We might have seen it before, but a lot of crap has happened. I can't unfortunately keep track of everything, so if we have heard this before, let me know down in the comments. So Spectre mentions that she believes in the overall Spectre's goal, which I think all 6 of our main characters believe in Spectre's overall goal, even though at this point I think only Jon and Sarah, possibly Arlo since he's been in the loop a lot longer than Sarah, but it does seem kind of like he's just her bodyguard at this point. So we haven't really seen Arlo and Sarah talking about a lot of Spectre stuff, but it stands to reason that Arlo would know about their overall goal. I'm sure Sarah told him. Anyway, point is, Spectre wants to restructure society where it doesn't just favor the most powerful people, and they're not the only ones benefiting from society anymore. So it's standard story stuff, like, hey, like, let's make society better, like, let's restructure everything. So just same old kind of cookie cutter stuff, which is fine. It's totally fine. Because yeah, like, the world of UnOrdinary does fucking suck. It's horrible. It's cool. It's action packed. Like, we like it. It's exciting. But at the same time, like, it is kind of like, I don't know if I want to live in this society actually. Anyway, but Sarah then does mention that greed has begun to take over ever since they discovered the dampeners. So ever since they started making the dampeners and the disablers. And since then, Spectre has been split into those 3 factions. Now, it's kind of confusing because this part was a little bit confusing because she's saying that because why 3 factions? Why not just 2? I understand the one where the guy who, like, did get Sarah disabled, like, maybe he wants to be the only high tier, like, maybe he wants to rule the world or something. Like, I can understand that, like, let's get rid of the high tiers. Like, let's get rid of the high tiers who stand in our way and we could be that. And then, you know, of course, the opposite of that is like, no, we cannot do that. We should not do that. Like, we're trying to make society equal, like high tiers included. So I don't know what the third faction could possibly be. It's strange. I'm interested to see what the three factions of Spectre are. And like I've said before, like I said in my season 2 part 2 predictions, I do think we will be seeing Doc again soon because he clearly is part of Spectre, but I think it is possible that he will become an antagonist and he will side with a bad side of Spectre, the side that opposes Layla. So, I don't know. It's gonna... But also, you know, that would just break my heart. That'd break John's heart, man. Anyway, so... That's just my thoughts on the Spectre thing. It's interesting. It's really cool. So yeah, she mentions that they've kind of gotten off track, and John mentions that, you know, since they've split this much, like, what makes you think that they'll ever get back on track? And she says that her plan is to currently climb the ladder of Spectre, climb the organization ladder, become an asset that they can never afford to lose, and she's going to use that influence and her power and her position with them to make sure that everything gets back on track. And yo, that's cool. We have Sarah's motivation. Like, hey, that's awesome. That's great. That's awesome. Like, you know, Sarah, I don't want to say Sarah's finally doing something because, you know, she's definitely been doing things before. Like, she's been trying to in season 2, she's definitely been doing things. Like, she's been trying to become a better person. She's been trying to bring John back, which she did. But, you know, like, Sarah has, like, not a deeper motivation, but Sarah has a goal for herself now. You know, not really focused on John. It's more just something that Sarah wants to do. And that's something that me and the Jokers have talked about in previous discussions after season 1, about how Sarah kind of didn't really do much. Sarah never really, Sarah never really did anything. She was kind of bland. She was kind of one note. She never really accomplished much at all. She was just there, kind of. And it's interesting. It's nice to see Sarah finally getting involved with a lot of things instead of things happening to her, you know? And, you know, aside from her just being really cool, badass girl. Anyway, so that plan of Sarah's, I'm for it. Way to go, Sarah. You a bad bitch. Anyway, so after their discussion a little bit, everyone comes. This is just a quick little bonus sidebar, which I think is kind of adorable. So as John and Sarah are talking out by the pool, everyone else does come out. You know, they decide to go start swimming and everything. And Remy in her floaties, freaking adorable. She says, you know what? Today is the day I'm gonna learn how to swim. And that was, you know, that's not important whatsoever. It's not. It could become important, like, you know, like Remy might be in a position where she'll drown at some point or something. But, you know, it was just a nice little character moment. Like, you know, Remy just, like, because Uru's drawn art with Remy in floaties before. And it was just nice, like, you know, it's just, you know, something, nice little bonus, like, Remy can't swim. Like, that's pretty interesting. That's funny. Anyway, so everyone notices them. They kind of, like, just wave at them briefly. So, but Sarah then gets contacted by the guy who was tailing her and John at Rowden Park. So she said that she has to make contact with him so that he can prepare her the details of the mission tomorrow. Again, the mission is still happening. With everything at Rowden Park, I completely forgot that the mission was tomorrow. Anyway, so Sarah goes to see him. And she's like, hey, what's going on? I was told I wouldn't be briefed till tomorrow. And he tells her, hey, Sarah, there's been a change of plans. And that's terrifying. That's a terrifying cliffhanger to leave on. It's terrifying because we don't know what these... We clearly don't know what these changes are going to be. We don't even know what the mission was going to be to begin with. Sarah didn't know. She didn't have that information. The only thing we did know is that Terrence told her, hey, we're not trying to ruin your life. I promise that, Sarah. And again, I'm not sure if we can trust Terrence. Like, we most likely can. Like, I think there is a higher chance that we can trust Terrence as to that we can't. But still, it's like, no one who's actually trying to help is that smug, you little prick. Anyway, it's terrifying because I mentioned this in my reaction. Now, these changes to the plan could be for the better. It could be like, hey, we know you have backup with John and Arlo at your side, so bring them along. Like, bring them along and, like, you know, do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, the guy could be like, I saw your friend fight. You know, he stood up for people. You know, clearly he got a little out of hand. But I saw that he was able to stop. I saw that you guys were able to stop him. Arlo was. So, we trust that, you know, we trust that you guys can handle him. Or the update could be like, hey, so yeah, your friend John, we're going to need you to disable his ability. We're going to need you to do that. Or like, you know, hey, like attack, you know, bring Blake to us. We got to disable him. He's a high risk. You know, it could be something terrifying. We clearly don't know. We don't even know what the mission is yet. Like I said, and also with this development of changes to the plan, something big is clearly still going to happen. I'm still standing by that. Like I've been saying, guys, all 6 main characters are here at the present moment. They're here. They're together. John, Sarah, Arlo, Remy, Blake, and Ison, all 6 of the main cast members are here. They're together. So it's the first time in UnOrdinary for them to all do something big together. And like I've been saying, I really hope that Uru wouldn't waste this opportunity. Not that I'm saying Uru would, but I'm really hoping she doesn't. Like I said, there is so much potential here for something major to happen. And something major should happen. Like, we just had a really cool fight. We just had an amazing fight. But Sarah is literally involved in something much bigger. And by extension, Arlo and John are also involved in that. And like I said, clearly Remy has been on Spectre's radar. Blake and Ison have been on Spectre's radar as well. But I believe Ison is kind of like, we don't know what to do with him. We don't know if he's on our side or if he's not on our side. Blake is like, yo, nah, this guy's hot-headed, he's a high risk. He's a high risk and everything. But yeah. Something major really should happen. And I'm trusting you. I've always had faith in your abilities. I'm sure something big and major will happen. We just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. Tomorrow could be the day. Tomorrow we could get the update briefly. Like I said during the reaction, the chapter could start off tomorrow. It could start off mission time. Mission go. And Sarah and Arlo and John are just kind of like, all right, let's do this. And then brief flashback to what the updated mission is. I wouldn't mind that. Or it could just be hey, let's tell you what the mission is real quick. Title card, UnOrdinary episode 254. And boom, mission time ago. Yep. So yeah, those are my thoughts on episode 253. Overall, there's some good story here. There is, despite how brief it is. Like I said, I think actually this chapter actually does feel a lot shorter than 252. Yeah, this chapter felt a bit shorter actually. But like I said in the beginning, it's just nice that John and Sarah are together again. And yeah, it was also nice because Arlo wasn't around this chapter. And I'm not saying that because oh, fuck Arlo. I'm saying that because we know Arlo's involved. We know that John and Arlo's relationship is starting to get better. I've always said, I don't think that Arlo and John will become friends per se. I've always said there's much more room for Remy and Blake to become John's friend. Ison, it based on 252, it does seem like Ison is starting to become less scared of John, but then again, he is also terrified of Arlo and Serafina. But anyway, it does seem like even Ison is starting to address John more casually. But like I said, there's much more potential for Remy and Blake to be John's friend than there is Arlo. Now, that being said, I've always just said Arlo and John shouldn't be friends, but they should just more kind of be like rivals, essentially, with like, a mutual respect. Like, it's like, hey, like, like, we're not friends. Like, it's totally fine. We don't hate each other anymore, but we're both willing to help out. And we're both willing to help out Serafina, and we both have each other's backs. Like, I'm not trying to see John go to Boba with Arlo. I'm trying to see John go to Boba with Remy. I'm trying to see John get a burger or go bowling with Blake. That's what I'm trying to see. Arlo, you had your chance. I'm sorry, but like, John just has your back now. Like, he's not your friend. Anyway. Yeah. Like I said though, it's wrapping up. It's wrapping up, boys. So yeah. This chapter overall, that's right, I was talking about that. But yeah, it's nice because Arlo, we know Arlo's in the loop, but it's nice because it's John and Sarah. It's John and Sarah. That's what the duo is. Now, clearly, they're also the God Tier trio, but it was just nice that Uru was giving us just John and Sarah again. Like, the friends that we started with coming together again, talking things out, and like discussing things that matter, discussing things that are going to change the course of their society, hopefully for the better. But yeah, things are wrapping up. So I'm going to give this chapter I'll give this chapter a 7. Yeah. 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's still really nice. It's still a very good chapter, but I think compared to recent chapters, this chapter is, compared to recent chapters, this chapter isn't like the greatest or anything, but it's just nice. It's just conversation. It's fine, totally fine. But yeah, you know what? No, 7.5. We'll give this chapter 7.5 out of 10. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys look forward to tomorrow's reaction. I hope to see you guys all there. And yeah, Uru, fantastic job on the chapter as always. For now, I will see you all back here next time. And as always, everyone, see you, Space Cowboy.